Hello, this is Eddie from Mirror Edge Sharpening Service in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. After my last video about my shear sharpening database, I realized that I had not told anyone in that video how I actually use the database in completion. One of the things that came up over and over again in the comments after the release of that video was how much time they thought it might take for someone to actually fill out my database. So I wanted to quickly show you two things that I didn't show you in the previous video. For one, in the database, it's all push button for the most part, except for the comments fields. This is an example of a comments field where one would have to actually type in the text. And as we all know, as this was going to do here, it likes to autocorrect. And if it does, it's constantly hard to go back and forth. And yes, it would take too much time to manually enter these individual fields. Now, for customer information, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to have to do that because it's unique. But under the location provided, it automatically comes up with a GPS location, so I don't have to type that. Over here on the right side of the screen, you'll see a little black where it says initial observation. It actually comes, when you click it, it actually comes with a checklist or a drop-down list. So I don't have to choose. I can choose one option or multiple. I don't actually have to type that information in. How is the shear used? I click on the little button. It's used for point cutting, wet and dry hair, or it could be a thinner and used for thinning. So by just doing that, this checklist is very easy to fill out. Is the tension, you click on the tension, wrong size, too tight. Each one of these, you see that drop-down list, it has the ability to just click it and choose it. When you're wanting to take a photo, you just click on the plus, select single photo. You can select a photo from your list, or you can choose the camera and take a brand new photo. It's up to you. We also have what we call radial buttons that allows you just to do a checkbox. The signature field, when you click on that, it automatically comes up with a signature box. And as you see, it actually doesn't take too much time. What would take time if I didn't use this program called Phrase Express would be the comments field. So these comments here are actually built using a program called Phrase Express. And I want to try to keep this video short, which is always hard to do. I'm going to delete this. Just hit cut. At the bottom corner of the screen, you'll see where it says there's a little balloon with an exclamation point. This is actually a shortcut to an application called Phrase Express. And this is that program here. Now, Phrase Express is a highly dynamic way of entering data into text messages, emails, into Yelp, into Facebook, without having to retype those messages over and over again. You can also, they're kind of a pre-canned template that you can have spell checked, and you can be checking the syntax on before that question even comes out. And in this case, I use Phrase Express for one purpose, for filling out that comments field. And the way I do it, let me go back to my database, is I click that little bubble with the exclamation point. It opens up Phrase Express there. I choose sharpening comments, and I'm going to say I sharpen this shear with an 8Ms flat hone. Now, it could have a pre-canned total message, but I would rather use these little snippets, these little phrases, to make a custom field that isn't the same for everybody, because I don't do the same thing to every shear. So that is my initial one. It says shear sharpen well, 8Ms flat hone, and Shapton Glass Japanese water hone, which you could say waterstone, with no observable issue. Pass wet tissue test at 90%, 99%, and cut human hair with little or no push. But say I also, sharpening comments, observation comments, I also reconvex the shear. So Mirror Edge improved the cosmetics of the shear by reconvexing the outer face of the blade. This removed scratches and blended the bevel into the blade as designed by the manufacturer. Okay, I'm going to put a space there. I'm going to go back to sharpening comments. Whoop, click the X button. Observation comments. I also found rust under the pivot. or corrosion. So I click on the rust and corrosion. Rust or corrosion under the pivot resulted in pitting and damage. This could lead to perceived roughness in the cut. Go to sharpening comments, observation comments, set alignment. You can do unlimited phrases, so you can build a custom comments in the report. As I don't want it, this is already getting to 7 minutes. I don't want it to get too long. I'm going to say discard changes. But as you can see, the Phrase Express program can make it easy to do just about any communications. So another example would be email prospecting. So I found an email address for a salon in a local city, and I want to prospect them. So I click on here. I go to my email real quick. Let me see if I can get it to come up. I create a new email, and I can put in the email address. I'm just going to put in mine. And then in this subject field, once again, I have that little bubble. I click on the bubble and email prospecting, prospect salon by email, and bam, it enters that entire email. It's a pre-canned email, and I can actually tailor this based on more phrases if I wish, and then I just hit send, and that message goes out. But you can't. It doesn't only work for email. You can also do it. Most people are using text messages, especially in this industry. So you can do the same thing with the text message. So you click on the text field, the little bubble comes up, and say I was going to refer the person who called me to Fort Worth Shaver. So I click refer Cody, and bam, a message comes up in my text message that's already pre-filled out that recommends Cody and Bill at Fort Worth Shaver, because Mirror Edge Sharpening Service doesn't presently do blades. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to end this video here. If anybody has any questions or wants to know more about Phrase Express, I think at the bottom it's $47 for the basic Phrase Express. For an enterprise or a bigger version, I think it's $200. But really, at the end of the day, you just need the basic functionality. This thing, Phrase Express, can do a lot of things to help automate your communications, especially on a phone. Everybody knows it's hard to type on a little phone. I do have a computer on my computer, but I do have a computer in my car. Sorry, but oftentimes it's just easier to communicate directly on the phone, text messaging. I also recently received, I just got to add this to it, I meant to do it earlier, communications from one of my customers who notified me via Yelp that they wanted something, and of course I can't see it now. But in my Yelp, it'll come up, and all I do is use Phrase Express because they say in Yelp that they want my services. I will open up Phrase Express. Oh, there's the email. And they said they want their knife sharpened and they want a quote. I just go to, where's it at here? Service request responses, knife inquiry, and there's a canned message for Yelp that I can send them that kind of gives them a basic breakdown of my prices. And it also will give them a link to my book online, which is what I use for booking all of my appointments. So this can be very, very helpful to you. I hope you get some information out of this. I appreciate what everybody provides on this forum. It helps me, so that makes me and encourages me to share some of the things that I use in my business to help make life easier. I hope you have a good day. Stay sharp. Thank you.